Do you think it's realistic to effectively tax billionaires in a way that still encourages innovation within America?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely. I happen to believe that we should not have billionaires. All right. So you want to get rich, fine, get rich. How much do you need? All right. Yeah. So I would have a very steep tax.
999 million.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
You want $1 billion? All right, maybe 900 million. But we want to change the culture around. I talked to Bill Gates. They did an interview with him on Netflix. And I said, Bill, you're worth $1 zillion. Were you motivated as a young man with the dream that you become a zillion? He said, no. He said, I love computer programming. That's what I loved.
Right.
That was his passion. Then he ended up making huge amounts of money. So, I don't begrudge people making a lot of money, but I think there should be a limit to how much you make. And also, and then getting back to economics, is we are looking at a nation today not only with massive income and wealth inequality, but incredible concentration of ownership. Want to hear a fact?
Yeah.
You got 3 Wall Street investment firms, BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard.
Vanguard, yeah.
Who combined are the major stockholders in 95% of the corporations in America. Go look at your favorite corporation, see who owns it. It'll be one of those. Who's the major stockholder? They'll be there. What do you think about that? That's power.
What is the impact of that? Like, how is that power wielded?
It means that you have 3 entities with boards of directors who have significant control over every major corporation in America. What that means is, do they stay in America? Do they go abroad? Do they pay their workers a decent wage? Or do they treat them like crap? That's what it means. Enormous power in the hands of 3 Wall Street firms.
So what's interesting is when you start to get any kind of money, they'll tell you, put your money in a Vanguard.
Yeah.
Is that good for America? Because it seems like to us, this is how you get to participate in capitalism.
Right. That's right. That's your retirement goes into Vanguard. But that's one thing. But the other thing is that Vanguard, State Street, and BlackRock have enormous economic power, which is not a good thing.
And they're not using it benevolently.
They're not. They're using it to make more money. So the issue is that we got to take a look at is we got to ask questions that I got to tell you in Congress is very rarely asked and in the media is very rarely asked. In the wealthiest country on earth, should everybody have a decent standard of living? Americans, yes and no.
Yes.
Some people will say, no, hey, it's a tough world out there. I'm sorry. I'm smarter than you. I work harder. My dad gave me a lot of money. You don't have it. Tough crap.
At least they're honest.
Yeah, that's what some people will say.
Yeah.
Most people will not say that.
Right.
Most people will say, you know what? Yeah, I don't think anybody should be sleeping out on the street. I don't think anybody should not be able to go to a doctor. That's what most people say. Okay? What does that mean in terms of practical politics? It means, among other things, that we need an educational system which is very strong, from childcare to graduate school. All right? You want to become, your dad wants you to become a doctor, but if you want to become a doctor, you may leave school $500,000 in debt. You know that?
Absolutely.
All right, does that make sense? We need doctors. Should we, as the richest nation on earth, say, good, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a nurse, you want to be a dentist, we need you desperately, tuition free. We love you.
Yeah.
Do it, because we desperately
Subsidize it. Yeah,
of
subsidize
course, subsidize.
Absolutely. If we need more engineers, don't make the education so expensive.
Exactly.
We need it.
And we need more engineers.
And also, I wonder if there's a certain point in time where if you squeeze the consumers of your products so much, they won't be able to buy them. So isn't it in the best interest of these, you refer to them as oligarchs, but isn't it in the best interest of these oligarchs that they make sure that life is fruitful enough for the people that are going to consume their products?
That's a very good question. And I'm not sure that that's a legitimate question. I think a right question. I don't know that they think about it that way.
They talk about the markets all the time, but it's like the market's going to fucking decide for you, buddy. And eventually they're going to realize we can't buy a new iPhone every year. And then your iPhone sales tank. Or we could create a system that in some way is, I don't know, and again, this is way smarter than me to figure out, but that is some way allowing people
slightly more equitable.
Yeah, it's just making enough money. And I don't know if Henry Ford did this, but of course in the lore, you always hear everybody on the line could afford a car, right? You would like to believe that everybody that is, working 40 hours a week can afford the average goods that the American consumer will want to buy. I don't know how we do that. And I don't know if it's through taxation.
Is the debate. Good. And that is the honest debate that we should be having as a country.
And can we bring these billionaires, can we bring these oligarchs into that conversation? And they're clearly brilliant, right? Many of them. Obviously, there's a bunch of them that are just Nepo babies. And I'm curious your thoughts on the the Nepo babies, the trust fund kids who have taken along, like, taken up politics and are finger wagging at people who actually work for a living when they've never had a real job. I'm curious your take on them being so opinionated.
Yeah, well, I echo what you're saying. It's some of these folks were born with huge amounts of money, think that they have the right to be telling everybody else what they can be doing and have enormous power.